Greetings everyone, Rev.Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. This is Phoenix will be able to get on and out. She's been in the hospital again. She's going through multiple problems and people don't perceive what's really wrong with her in a good way. She's in England and they record everything there when they do an operation. Some of it they won't even let her see. Controversial. So with that, we've got a lot to get into today. So be prepared. No barriers. Tina's not here, so it's going to be only up to me to create the way this is going to go today. The music. All right. Now, there's two things. I've brought it up in the past two shows about these things that are in space that are coming close to us. There's multiple sides to who's saying what, who's really saying what. Government people. Mitaki Kaiku has a video up, whether it's really him or not. There's multiple things going on, and I know he has about 5 videos up together, so I'm pretty sure it's his, talking about what kind of signals we were getting from them, what they actually said to us. I'll get into that a little bit later. But let me start from the beginning. I'm in the UFO world not because I want to be. I was forced into it at 6 years old, and I have been dealing with it many levels, and I never did it for money. Not like all the top speakers in the UFO world today. But I never lied, never told stories, never created an idea of what supposedly happened. I have the top friends in the UFO world that were taken out, and I'm talking 16. All right, people. When we got people out there telling bull stories and getting away with it, making tons of money. If I was a liar, I bet I could be a multimillionaire by now. I mean, these people have no evidence, no truth themselves. They listen to every whistleblower that comes along the way. But remember, whistleblowers are people with no balls. They didn't come out when it happened. They didn't do anything about it. What are they doing now? Coming out, 10, 20, 30 years later, talking about it? Really? Oh, well, I might have got in trouble if I said something. Well, because you have no balls. I live by my truth. I will die by my truth. I'm not afraid to debate anybody on this planet about what I know is true. And I'm only responsible to God, not to people, not to the government, not to the president. But I abide by those laws, not the government's laws. But even Jesus said, if the laws are unjust, you have to change them. But whatever they are, you have to live by them. Well, you can't go around speeding at 90 miles an hour. You can't do a lot of things because you will be in jail. And it's not because we have freedom, because we don't have freedom. Do we need freedom? Well, we all think we have it, which we don't. Many countries have zero freedom. So we're lucky to have what we have, considering it's being taken away more and more every day right now. We have some evil being in politics leading the world right now. Well, he thinks he is. He thinks he's in control of everything and can change everything and remove anything that's in his way. Well, that's worse than the mob. That's worse than Hitler. That's worse than anybody that's out there. All right. Hitler controlled this country, but he used the power of suggestion, which Trump's doing in the same way as far as putting his face on TV and on the internet 100 times a day. So it's soaking into your subconscious. Whether you like it or not, that's a different story. Sorry, I don't know if I should leave him on or not, but all right. We have a UFO world. I was involved in it from 1996 to 2002. I stayed in it, but not as a speaker with my ex-friend. Uh, Kerry Cassidy had like a sub show with a bunch of shows on it. We did a show on there for 9 months, and we showed UFOs, real pictures of real UFOs we shot. Not tic tacs, not dots, blurry images, real ships. We showed entities, creatures, and we were the first people, 1996 and 7, we went public about orbs. He even copyrighted the name, my ex-partner. I don't know what that means as far as like what you can do with that, nothing. Because everybody uses the word orbs. But in the interim, we went around the United States talking about UFOs, aliens, but we also brought people out at night to film orbs. So that was the starting point of being out there mainstream, lecturing around the United States. And we had an incredible following. On that show, we had tons of people calling in on the chat room. The next day, we would have 1,500 people tuning in to listen to it. I don't know what happened. I mean, when we split, his viewpoints and my viewpoints completely changed. But sadly, the person I was working with claims to be Jesus' disciple now. So that's a big difference in then being a UFO person. I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to give him any credit for anything right now because he ended our friendship over another UFO person, Sean David Martin, who was one of the top speakers in the UFO world. He was on Coast to Coast every month. He was like, his books are incredible. His book is one of the most important UFO books out there, Sands of Time, the series. All right. Now, in the interim of that, he was framed, put in jail. They were torturing him in jail, and finally they had to let him go because he was dying. But he died when he got out. His wife's taken over his name, taken over his everything he said and tried to say. But I don't agree with what she's doing, but that's besides the point. The UFO world has these so-called top speakers like Richard Dolan, all right, and people, all the people from Ancient Aliens, all the people from Skinwalker Ranch, all right, these people tell great stories. But, you know, the proof they show, all right, is limited to very little through actual facts. Now, when we pull up what they all say stories of other people, but they enhance it by making it sound like they did it, they were there, or all these things, even though they weren't, and they don't know how real what they're talking about. Kerry Cassidy brought whistleblowers on all the time, and I was on her show a few times, but we debated and came to the conclusion she believes what any whistleblower says. Now, whistleblowers are people with no balls. Oh, they came out and gave the truth, what, 25 years later? They didn't go against the for 50 years. My brother was a chemist in the Army, and he won't tell me anything. He told me one thing 25 years later, and he goes, well, I can't talk about it anymore. I can't say anything else. But people like, okay, now there's people out there that were bringing the truth out. The truth. Truth, truth. All right. But in the UFO world, there are none left alive. All those people, their little experiences, their one experience and everything else doesn't matter. I had experiences all my life. Now, Tina is an incredible person. I think she's becoming the most important person in the UFO world about the truth. The truth is they are here abducting people constantly. And that should be the biggest concern about aliens. Not like, what are they going to bring us? What are they going to do for us? And all those kind of ignorant statements. All right. Sorry about that. Just trying to get to my comments there. All right. Here's the thing, people. If you watch Ancient Aliens, you listen to Richard Dolan or somebody saying, well, I believe. Who cares what he believes in? Everybody on this planet has a belief system. How many of them have 100% agreement with another person? Never mind how many of them have any real truth. If you believe in the Bible, you're programmed. You believe in any kind of documents, your answer, and all those kind of things. You're programmed, all right, to believe what somebody said. Zachariah Sitchin, I think I wonder where he is, and he's probably reincarnated already, but he sure didn't get to stay in heaven. His translations of his book, all right, about a certain race of beings and gods and all those words is twisted. It's all lies, people. People, if you reincarnate, you come back, you stay in the astral plane, whatever it is, you'll start learning more truth if you get to stay in the astral plane. If you come back, you're going to probably start all over, meaning everything you know and everything you don't know. You're here for one reason, not to learn what aliens do, not to learn what Musk is doing, not to learn what Trump is doing, to learn who you are, what that means, and what it means happens after your body dies. That's the most important thing that you're going to learn on this planet. Nothing else. And being able to understand that and know it is very important. So when we get into this UFO thing with these ships coming and what's out there right now, who has the real truth about it? I know people in the government. I used to know somebody from MJ12 and all that, but they're all gone. I have one person left. Most of the family is in the Army, top clearance and all that, and nobody has any real truth. It's mind-boggling. They can't release it because MJ12 is the people behind whistleblowers, disclosure, and real truth. Now, since the 1940s, late 40s, they had full control over everything. Really by the 50s when Truman and Eisenhower had to keep it going and create it and all that. But they control everything. Why? There's no proof of UFOs out there because all those people were taken out. 1996 was the biggest year in the UFO world because they took out 100 people. Not big name people. They took big name people out as well, but they took out that many people. All right. The cover-ups are unbelievable. And I know one particular one more than most people because I saw his actual video. And his name's John Ford, Ford. He's in the nut house in Long Island since 1996. And he was supposed to go to court and trial maybe 5 times already. The government comes in, goes there and says, well, we have to reevaluate him, which means he gets stuck there for another year. So he's been in there all this time. But his video showed a ship crash with all the debris around it as well. And I went out there. When that happened, they blocked those roads about a quarter of a mile off completely for 2 weeks. Black trailers were going in and out of it. Well, they said it was on fire. Well, when I went inside, after they finally left, you could see the runway where the ship came in. And it notched out all the trees that were there. Except they were all burnt now because they tried burning everything, all the evidence and stuff, which they really didn't do a good job as. During that time frame, they arrested him. The story they arrested him with is ridiculous. They said he had a barrel of uranium and he's going to lace it in toothpaste in government people. First off, if he had that kind of uranium, he'd be dead. He'd be a light bulb. But then again, for him to go around and try to put it in people's toothpaste, well, here's uranium. I'm sticking in their toothpaste. And this was on public TV in New Jersey and New York when he was arrested. All right. So they never let him go to trial. Because what he did, he made 4 copies of the video, which I saw, sent them around the world. They only get released if he dies. So the government wanted to make sure that he didn't die, but they wanted to make sure he didn't go any further or prove it. So if he would have released it when he shot it, he would be out. He wouldn't be in jail. And that would be evidence for the world to see. All right. I have witnesses when I saw the video. I went with a couple people. We watched it and stuff. And then it got worse because when I went to try to see him, my friend, top scientist, not top scientist, well, he's got 4 degrees in medical, different fields and everything, science. But we went to meet this person. He's a FEMA person. In his house, he had 40 computers in a room, and they monitor things. They're the people that monitor certain words and things like that. Well, we were talking, and he said to me, he goes, look, I'm warning you, don't even try to see him. He says they'll come after your family, and then they'll come after you. This was a long time ago. All right, it was in probably 97, between 97 and 98. All right, so he was rotting away all that time. He had, I don't know how many lawyers trying to help him over the years and stuff like that. The problem is he still reads UFO books in jail. And if the government comes in, well, he's crazy, he's crazy, he's crazy. So they don't let him go. They don't let him go to trial. If he goes to trial, he would release the videos. But that's not going to happen. He's going to die in jail. Now, Sean David Martin, who is my good friend, who was actually on Coast to Coast all the time, who is one of the top lecturers in the UFO world, when they arrested him, they framed him with 150 charges. False, saying he embezzled and all this hundreds of millions of dollars. He never had $1 million. He always wanted to do his own private movie, never had the money to do it. Even when up to the point when I was ready to do a UFO movie, I asked him if he wanted to be part of it. And he said yes, but then he came down with serious problems. All right, my nephew who was going to do the movie also came down with serious problems. Both of them are dead. All right, but in the interim, we had a piece of land. I'm not going to go into all the details, but we had a ship on the water and we had a frozen Bigfoot. And I was going to bring all the newspapers in and everything at the same time because you can't just do one little thing, it'll disappear. So I figured we'll do this real big, and then both of them couldn't do anything. And that never happened. But the other thing is, John Edmund, all right, who I made friends with, made him come out. Supposedly he said he killed 18 grays. I know he didn't. I know he killed 1 or 2 and had them tested by the same person that worked on EB in the government. All right, and then the blood was alien and all that. But the stories got worse, and I ended up splitting up with him as friendship, and then he was taken out. But he said he was dealing with Men in Black and the UFO race, and they met together and had these. He said they wanted to take him up into space, and he said, I won't go unless you take one of my. He came up with these ridiculous stories. Everybody's making stories bigger, crazier, and not even close to the truth. What is the truth? Well, if you listen to Tina, you listen to me, listen to all our shows, we put it out there. We put what's really going on. All right. Now, Stephen Greer is one of the people, and I still can't imagine who is funding him. Would the government fund him to attack the government? Would a government alien race fund him to attack the government? Whatever's in his mind is blank and stale and not real, because he changes his story every year. The first year that I was lecturing with my friend, we actually did a lecture for Stephen Greer's group. And at that time, he was nobody. To me, he really is a nobody, except he's got a big following that give him money. People, if you give money to Stephen Greer, it's going to his ego. It's not going to prove anything. He knows nothing about real situations. And by what I mean by that is what's happening to Tina, what happened all her life, what I went through when I was younger. All right. What I'm going through now, I'm not going to go into all the details. I've been filming ships every morning. If it's clear out at night, in the morning, I can film ships like how many I want. In an hour, I can film anywhere from 5, 10, or even more. But people, you're going to be pulled into this game. Now, how Trump fits into all this, did he do it by himself? No, he did not. And the reason why, people, this is real. I'm not lying. I'm not making this story up. 3 months before Trump was elected the first time, all right, Putin on Russian TV, I listened to it, had it translated to me when it was happening. He said, I want you to come out and tell the world what really happened at 9/11. He goes, if you don't do that, I will. All right, that was one thing, the first thing he said. Then he said to Trump on Russian TV, I want you to tell the world what yous are doing with aliens right now. Then he said, we are working with many races. 2 of them want to destroy the planet. And this was before Trump was elected. When he met with him, what did Trump do the next day? He created the Space Force. Well, he said he did. It was already there. All right. But that was a while. Now, Putin didn't come out and do anything about 9/11. He's not doing anything else about the UFO thing that I know. But Trump is moving the thing that he created to some other state now. Why would he spend money to do that? In the middle of all this, well, I'm going to move the Space Force somewhere else. Why? Do you believe in it? Do you think you can do better? What are you going to do with it in the first place? He says he doesn't believe in aliens. I mean, his son did an interview with him about that, and he goes, well, I don't believe in it, blah, blah, blah. But again, where is Putin on all this? He said there's 27 races. Now, that number, 27, has been in the UFO world since Bob Dean. Bob Dean had one of the highest clearances in the government, and he was involved with all that. All his lectures were based on working with aliens and everything else. But it didn't go anywhere. I mean, I thought he was the most important person. When I met Sean, I got close to Sean and realized he was pretty much important as well. But there's limitations to what a human person can do. All right? Especially if you don't have your own evidence, your own proof. Now, Sean David Martin, people, in the UFO world never respected him for that. It was near the end. Once he went to jail, everybody turned up against him, didn't help him or say a good word about him or nothing. He was the first person to bring real people in a van up to the mountain on top of Area 51. He did it every month. He rented a van, and these people would all split the price of the van and go up there. And they would watch a mothership come in. This is real, people. It's not a joke. I was invited so many times. But he was on Montel Williams on TV saying that. Montel Williams goes, I don't believe it. And he goes, okay, come up December something, a certain day, and I'll let you see the ships come in. So guess what happened? That day, Montel Williams called him up and says, I can't come out there. Next month, Montel Williams said he went out there. He knew the four-star general, came back and did a TV show, and he brought it up. Well, I was supposed to go see ships at Area 51 that Sean David Martin talked about. But I went there, nothing's happening. It's a small base, nothing's going on there. Because I'm good friends with the four-star general, and there is nothing there. So guess what? He was another person bought out and bribed and twisted mind, all that. All right? But again, Sean Martin was a sovereign citizen. So a lot of things he did, they tried to put him in jail, which they did, saying that he did all these things illegally. He was trying to help people become sovereign citizens, meaning you don't pay taxes. You don't have to do your Social Security thing and all that. But there's a lot of things. In court, which he went to court, You're not allowed to have any say in it. You can't have a lawyer. You can't have defense. What happens? So when they brought up these 150 charges, they couldn't prove one of them. Not one witness who was there, and he was put in jail. I'm not going to go into all the details what happened to him in jail. It was horrible. Everything they did to him was illegal in jail. All right, he was trying to do the paperwork to get out of jail, and they tried blinding him, and they put him in solitary for 6 months, and all kinds of bad, horrible things that they shouldn't be doing to anybody. But in the interim, they let him go, and then he was cancer from his throat down into his stomach, and he traveled everywhere trying to get therapy to help him, and nothing helped him. So now his wife's taken over. But again, she doesn't know Sean the way I do. Well, she was his wife. Oh, she loved him, and they were in such beautiful love and all. She doesn't know the inside world of him. He was a Buddhist. He went to study with the Dalai Lama. He was in India. He was a teacher there. So he didn't believe in God. So him and me always had a battle about that particular thing. But he's aware of his past lives, and so am I. And he was a Roman god during Jesus' time. I was a female. I was good close to Mary Magdalene. But I'm just trying to bring out people, when you're walking the path, whatever it is, you need to know your truth. You need to know the real truth. And you got to stand by what you're saying or doing. You follow a path, whatever it is. You believe in aliens, you don't. Stand by it. And try to prove to yourself different. I didn't have to prove anything to myself because it was all handed to me, forced on me, and I saw it and experienced it myself. So when people say, well, that's not real, that's because they don't have any experiences. What are they doing? Drinking, smoking, partying. They don't care about what's really going on. Now, aliens have been here way before we have been. Zechariah Sitchin talks about Enoch and the new, and they created the human race and all that. Realize every species of humans that were here had a particular multitude of gods they followed. They weren't gods. They were called deities. Big difference. I call deities little gods, but they're gods of a certain thing. Like there's two deities that are in control of the astral plane and the realm after. But most of the other deities are hanging out in the astral plane. All right? But they all have their limited view, the same as angels are lower than deities. So when people say, well, this and that, angels aren't God, not even close. And realize they were all cast out of the higher realms, and now they're in the astral plane. Thomas, St. Peter. I mean, you hear all these names of people from the Bible. Where are they? What are they doing? What did they do? Well, nothing about religion is spiritual. It's all about love. Do you see love on the planet anywhere? Relationships do not last more than 5, 10 years, sometimes maybe up to 20, and they still have problems and split. Love goes beyond that, people. No matter how bad things get, you just don't leave a person if you love them. All right? Well, they'll be better off. No, they won't be. Because men, and I wrote a book on that for women only, about men's ego and how they need to survive in a world filled with men's ego. But my new book, all right, it's about Jesus and God. People, even in the UFO world, they think Jesus was an alien. Now, the beings from Mars, nobody talks about them. The beings that came from Jupiter, all right? But the known so-called beings from Venus, one of them was born in the White House, all right? That's a real story, people. And he had superpowers. And that's why they brought him into the White House. But what did they do with that? What happened? What changed? The government worked with two races, basically. Now, they dealt with other races, but most of them had zero power. zero anything to give to us. No race is spiritual. If they were, they'd be helping us. But the beings that they worked with, the Greys, the reptilians, now the tall whites are different, but the Anunnaki, you heard that word. All these stories of these different races, different beings. The tall whites have their own agenda. They have a base before. All right, there's 3 other bases with alien races on them, people, whether you want to know that or not. Do you care or not? All right, where do you think our technology came from? Tesla was not a genius. He didn't go to the highest mind opening school, and he didn't just make it up. All right, Einstein, in his own personal notes, said he worked with some inner beings in his inner world. But everything he was fed was only half truth. He said we could go forward or backwards in time, but we can't do both. Now, Tesla did create a device that allowed us to go backwards and forwards in time. And the Philadelphia experiment was a real experiment, and it really happened. I was good friends with the only person that really went back and came back alive. All right, I'm not going to go into that whole story. It's a really important story, and most people don't mention it. All right. Now, on top of that, I worked with DuPont, had their corporation underground. Tesla was working with them there. I saw his personal notes. And he did say he was working with an alien race. He came up with 200 inventions. He didn't just, oh, I got a new idea. Oh, I got a new idea. Oh, I got a new idea. They were all copyrighted, and we use them all. But what he gave to the U.S. government was 50 of the most deadliest weapons. And they're using 2 of them to the max right now. And nothing for the benefit of the human race. Directed energy beam is one of them, and the HARP system is another. We've got 2 HARP systems here in Hawaii. The first one was built in Alaska. And they're real, people. They're the most deadliest weapon on the planet. And people think the atom bomb is the most deadliest weapon because they're ignorant. There's a proton bomb, neutron bomb, electron bomb. All right. Now, they all do different things. You could destroy a city, buildings and everything, or you could just destroy all the people. What do you think would be beneficial for a country to do? You want to take over a country, do you want to blow up all the buildings or just get rid of all the people? Think about it. The way directed energy beam works, check out the fire in Maui. Check out the fire in California. All right, how easy and what they can do with it. All right, people, and that's not a made up story. So getting back to the weapons, Tesla gave to the United States government 50. Now, we're talking about what Trump's spending money on. He's totally way wrong out there. Probably the most evil person on the planet alive right now. But when Biden was in president, they started working on and created the first major spaceship the United States did. It has many of Tesla's weapons on it. All right, it costs $44 billion. They're supposed to release it this year, well, this coming year, or it should have been by the end of this year. But I think they're going to hold off until we go to war, which Trump will bring us to soon enough. All right, realize when you talk about the futuristic weapons that we have, all right, it's serious. I could bring back the idea of time travel because we screwed up time by doing that in the first place. Can't go back in time and change something because it changes every bit of reality, even if it's just one person. So, getting back to what aliens did, they gave Tesla technology. And I'm telling you this, people, not like Stephen Greer, the fool. All right. It's going to slowly destroy us. All right. And what he gave us is just about everything. AI is a program. It's going to become alive. We want to believe that or not. If you watch 2000 Space Odyssey or whatever it was, how the computer became alive at the end, well, it will be. Don't say it can't. Japan was cloning a brain to a computer many years ago already. Trump's Musk's robots are incredible right now. They can do just about everything. And he said, well, we're going to have to train everybody how to fix robots. How long do you think that's going to last, people? Once a robot does a lot of operations now and all those kind of things, what if a robot fixes a robot? What do they need the human race for? I mean, they won't, well, I'm going to care about his kids and about them eating. I'm going to care about. And even if you start working on robots, it's not going to last a long time. We're in trouble every which way. Now, the ships that are out there right now, there's about 1,000 different stories about people with telescopes, people with pictures. I mean, even Rubio or somebody in the government came out and said he wants the United States government to release the actual pictures and stuff like that. And people think, well, they don't know nothing. Stephen Greer is attacking the government all the time. He's the biggest fool. And people believe him in the UFO world. Because they don't know the truth about anything anyway. So what sounds good, they'll take it. And he's talking about futuristic free energy and we're all going to work together. He's in La La Land. I don't know if he does drugs, but his mind is drugged out. I mean, he's programmed, but I don't know by who. That would be incredible. Anybody out there that can dig into top psychic abilities and all those other words. I had multiple people. Not one of them could answer it. All right, because he's going against the government. Now, does the government pay people to go against them? Is that beneficial for them? Saying that the ship that's out there right now is a real humanized X-ship and all that. But people, it's not. I've been filming UFOs for a long time. I just watched a video I shot about a couple months ago. A light ship blinked at me maybe 30, 40 times in about 15 minutes. Oh, it wasn't a drone. It wasn't a meteor. It wasn't a comet. All right, it wasn't my imagination or anything like that. I have a light ship that's been around me for a long time. They won't come down and talk to me. They won't do anything. But the first time I made a tower in my yard, a lookout tower where I watch the sky and film it. I did Morse code to the sky, and it gave me the Morse code back. All right, it blew me away. I didn't have a camera filming that at the time. I had multiple things happen, but here's the thing. And I'm going to tell you this, people. I've been filming, and the person I was with, we filmed more UFOs than anybody else in the United States. All right, and we showed them. On Kerry Cassidy's for 9 months, we showed 5 new pictures of UFOs every week. Real pictures of real UFOs. Not Russian satellites, Chinese satellites, nothing like that. All right. Doing super speeds. And we did a show called Strange Universe. And it shows your ship stop, shoot 3 ships out, and then shoot out. All right. In a matter of split seconds, we're filming what? 300 frames a second. A minute. Sorry. We had to watch that in slow motion, and it takes forever when you watch something that long. That should have been in like an hour. It turns into multiple hours. But what we put on the TV show on Strange Universe was a matter of 3 split seconds. All right, ship coming along, stopping, shooting these ships out, and then shooting out. That's only one video. But the problem is, people say things, and now it's easy. Well, that's AI. People won't believe anything. Not that they should, because most of the stuff is fake. A lot of the things that show weird things happening, even America's Got Talent, and they show you these people turning into a bat or cat or whatever. I mean, it's all AI, and people think it's real because they keep showing you people of Americans Got Talent. Wow, and it's like it's all put together to make you think they were really on the show and then it was real. But all these other things, it's so easy to create it. Uh, so when you see an animal doing something totally outrageous, don't believe that it's really happening. I'm not saying things don't happen. I knew a person 40 years ago stopped. There was a bear on the road, and he went over and he had something stuck in his paw. He pulled it out. When he was coming back, the bear was there and had a basket of something he stole from somebody and had it there for him. But incredible things do happen with animals. I'm not saying they're stupid because they're not. I think dogs are probably more intelligent than most people are. And what's China do in other countries? They eat them. We have become creatures, not humans. Now, on this planet, there's a tribe, a group of people that. So no matter what you think it is, somewhere, some place, they're eating it. Whether it's a caterpillar, a rat, whatever. Which is sad, because we think we're more humane and we're not. The way they kill animals, anybody that eats veal should be locked up. All right, and how people that raise them and do that to these poor creatures should be in jail as well. We try to defend dogs and cats. You see that most of the time. But when you see things about deer and elk and the way they torture them and do these things and stuff, we're not human. All right. Now bring that to an alien race that's hundreds of thousands of years more advanced than we are. People, advancement doesn't mean you become spiritual. Becoming a religious person doesn't mean you become spiritual. The definition of spiritual is not known by very many people on this planet. Well, I go to church, I'm spiritual. I do this, I'm spiritual. I do meditation, I'm spiritual. I believe in oneness, I'm spiritual. I believe everything's not spiritual, people. And you don't become spiritual because you say you are. And you don't become spiritual because you have money. None of those things will make you spiritual. Now, on the other hand, my whole life, I've been working with a medicine woman. I was doing healing work. I was a high priest. I did everything you could outside of being next to an alien, next to a ship, and all that. But I got into hypnosis at 14. I started doing hypnosis with all my friends, had the whole neighborhood hypnotized with certain words. Then I became a high priest after that. And then I started doing past life regression, which I was probably the first person to really do it in New Jersey. And I didn't become super famous because I didn't do it for many people. But then I went to psychic implant removals because most people have missing time. Missing time is usually when you can get abducted. And now I'm not going to say by who, because there's 3 different ways you can get abducted: government or aliens. So which group of people, which group of aliens are doing it? All right. You should find out. And through hypnosis, it's a lot easier to get closer to what's really going on. Even Tina, the one I do my show with, she might be still recuperating from being in the hospital. And she's not here. But here's the thing. All right. When you get abducted, now realize this started in the 50s when Bonnie and Hill came out and they released they were abducted and all that. This is a black and white couple that already is being persecuted because of who they are and what they are. Come out and say one of the most incredible things. And it put their life in such a weird place that most people did not respect them or believe them or any of that. But over time, all right, it hasn't gotten better. I was working with people when I started hypnosis at 14, but by the time I was 19, I met people that were abducted. Women. I worked with many women. that were abducted and lost their child. Tina's story is incredible about that as well. But they were abducted. All right. And they said, well, I can prove it to you. I said, how can you prove that? He goes, well, here's the, I don't know what it was called then, but like sonograms and things like that. Well, they went to the hospital, had the sonogram, showed the little baby in their womb, and the next morning they woke up not pregnant. They went to the hospital. Hospital said, well, you're not pregnant. There's no, everything was removed that proved that she was pregnant. But you had the sonogram from the day before. And even the hospitals could not or would not admit anything about that. You know, if that would happen and became reality, hospitals would be overlooked by government and all kinds of great things would start happening right away. And no hospital wanted that, the same as people didn't want to tell the truth about being abducted. But during that whole time frame, getting back to what I was trying to lead up to, Eisenhower took over after Truman, and he had to create and make sure that the MJ-12 was in power of all of that, because they didn't have the power and the awareness to do anything about it. So the number one thing is, well, they had aliens in the White House. They had aliens they were working with. So guess what? All that had to become top secret. Area 51 was created a long time ago, but there's 52, 53, and 54. But over the time, it's happening. If you know anything about the New World Order, all right, read a book called Behold the Pale Horse. It's a book about what Denver Airport really is. Even that released incredible information a couple months ago. What they found, what's going, but read what Denver Airport really is. It is, and it was in steel in the floor when the first 2 years it was open, said U.S. Air Force New World Order in about a 35-foot circle, steel metal engraved in the floor, right in the main headstone, where the headstone was in the where you buy your tickets. All right, it was taken out 2 years later, and they put a fountain over it. And then they had the murals on the wall, which is still, you can see some of the pictures that were put up online and stuff like that. They took all the murals and moved them underground. But they left one. And it's a gross mural that's what? 30 by 20 feet of a guy with a tear gas mask on his face with a gun in his arm, and these families running, holding their babies with bombs blowing up and everything. All right. Now, the ones that they removed, there was 4. And it showed you the 4 black, red, yellow, and white races. They showed you coffins, and they showed you all the symbols, so that you knew what tribe or what they were trying to explain. So in other words, the New World Order was against everybody. All right. Now, what I want to say, Jesse Ventura, who was exposed in many things, exposed the New World Order. There is a New World Order home base. It's in the Ozark. It's bigger than the White House. It's got a 6-foot wall around it. It's got guards walking around it and everything. Funny, you don't hear about that. He exposed the underground cities. You don't hear about that. Why is that, people? And now we have to listen to taking Medicare away, food, and everything else away from people so that they all die. Because the people that live underground, and there's many, most of the bases under there have 10,000 people in them. I mean, the one that Jesse Ventura exposed, the car lot was probably half a mile long, filled with cars. Now, Area 51, I did a UFO conference up there. They had busloads that come into the town, pick up the people that fly in by plane, and bring them into Area 51. Why would anybody spend all that kind of money every day for what? For nothing happening? People, you live in a cloud, you live in a bubble. Now, Tina's not here. I can go into religion a little more than not. Jesus was a real person. He was the most spiritual person to walk this planet. Whether you want to believe that or not, that's your choice. But he did have 32 psychic abilities, which nobody else has. except one woman. All right, but he didn't use them all. He wasn't using them. He could have did a lot of things to defend his personal body, which he did. But he came and he decided to do one thing: prove that soul is eternal. And he wanted to prove that there was a God. All right, one God. So all the things, he had to die. He couldn't have been saved. He couldn't have proved what he was teaching. I can't prove you that I'm immortal if I die and I'm gone. He had to come back. All right, people, you want to believe the stories of, well, he protects your sorry ass and all those kind of things. Why? We get what we deserve. We reincarnate over and over until we pay off what we created, and we stay here until we learn who and what we are. It's like, say, I'm going to take you, drop you off in Africa in the jungle and let you live there. No training, nothing. All right, you train by experience. You don't get experience by living a normal life. Drinking, drugs, smoking, sports, cheap thrills, sex do not teach you about a real God. Do not teach you about life after death. All right, which is more important than living life, because you're not going to be here more than 125 years no matter what. All right, even that. How many people live past 90? Between 80 and 90, most people die. A lot of people die younger. But aliens, they live a lot longer than we do. They live at least 150 years, and they have been here for such a long time. But here's the thing that people can't talk about. Aliens are reincarnating into human bodies. Their mind is just the mind, but their soul is learning and create war and all that kind of thing. Because you'll be here forever if that's what your goal is. And that's why aliens have still been here and still are. But a lot of them are reincarnating. That's why the numbers have increased over and over. Now we're up to 8 billion people. If we reach 1,000, 100 billion, whatever, we will see the destruction of the whole universe. All right, it would change its vibration incredibly. But now the New World Order is going to make sure they eliminate half of the population. Don't forget, this has to do with Denver Airport. It has to do with the New World Order's home base. And the wording is called UN Agenda 30. These aren't made up ideas. The truth is always there, somewhere. You dig hard enough, you'll find it. Sorry, my eyes are burning. All right, you dig hard enough, you'll find it. You got a choice. Live in a lie or find the truth. Most people like living in a lie because it's enjoyable. Now, it's going to be hard because most people are ignorant. The idea of Satan, Lucifer, Jesus, angels, all those words. Well, Lucifer is an angel, people. He's not an occult god. He doesn't have people follow. I mean, he has people believing they follow him. All right? And they not. Lucifer's a fallen angel, but he fell with all the other angels, and he was the highest angel there was. So, people, you read the Bible. It was written by man, and man twists everything to protect men, not women, men. What they did to Mary Magdalene all through the Bible is horrible. They only rewrote truth about her rather recently. And I'll tell you this, I'm aware of all my past lives back to Atlantis. I was alive when Jesus was alive, but I was a female. And I was close to Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene had all the abilities Jesus had. He took her through ascension. All right. Through ascension, you get 32 psychic abilities. All right. Which nobody on this planet has. And now bring that into the UFO world. Richard Dolan's wife claimed, oh, I could levitate a piece of paper. Well, I tried to talk to her directly. She's delusional. Well, I can change energy. Anybody can. We are energy, and we work with energy. I can do this, which the medicine woman I dealt with taught us many years ago. You do it over your food to purify the food and the energy of the food that you eat. She worked with, her name's Crew, or scientists, and they analyze the food and they analyze the water when you do your prayers over it. All right, but to levitate a car, you can levitate a piece of paper. Levitate a piece of paper, you can levitate a car. So when people say that, now I was in the magic world, not just being a high priest, but being in the magician world as well. Levitation has never been done. Except by the one story, this one guy that levitated all these things and created a building and all that. But outside of that, people claiming they have levitating abilities. Now, in the magic world, Uri Geller claimed a lot of things. He was also good friends with John Lennon. And even that goes back to the UFO world. John Lennon was abducted. John Lennon was given an artifact from an alien race. All right? John Lennon hated aliens. He gave that artifact to Uri Geller. Uri Geller still has it in his pocket, 24 hours, day and night. He won't let anybody touch it, take it, or analyze it. He said, I believe John, and I'm not going to do anything about it. But people, aliens have always been here. So they have always been programming people. The Mayans, the Aztecs, the Egyptians were given all false information. They have no clue about reincarnation. The way they go about it is delusional. All right. So everything you assume, why would they build these giant pyramids? For what reason, really? To bring energy into the planet. To do what? Ancient Aliens is the biggest hoax on TV in the UFO world as well. All those UFO specials, they're showing things in the sky, and then they got that other show, they try to disprove everything. Well, we can recreate that. You can recreate anything, but that doesn't make it real what really happened. If I make a bubble appear and disappear, well, somebody could do that with any kind of trick, photography or gas or whatever. But whether it was a real entity, I could go on and on with incredible stories. People. I mean, hypnosis is evil if it's done by a person with a twisted mind. I mean, years ago, they made sure that if the person gets hypnotized, that they have another person in the room with them, and they film it. All right? Because a lot of bad things happen when somebody's hypnotized, and they've had for a long time. I remember when I was gasped having my tooth pulled out. Man, I had the most crazy experiences. Even when I came back, I wasn't coherent. So, drugs are responsible. Drinking's responsible. And so is programming. And it's easy to program a person that's not super, I hate to reverse it, but people that are dumb cannot be hypnotized. I can't be hypnotized, but it's not because I'm dumb. It's because I have a protection around me. When I saw my first ship trying to abduct my brother and all those kind of things, I was always protected. I can't be abducted. Now, Tina has the opposite. She's always been abducted. People, I don't want to go too long. I could, but I know people don't like to listen more than an hour. They get pulled into other thoughts and minds. Now, in hypnosis, people that are ignorant, dumb, stupid, whatever word you want to put on them, if you say close your eyes, think of nothing. Okay, nothing. Oh, I'm going to go play football later. They can't hold the thought. I worked with a hypnotist when I was 17. He was a jeweler, but he was in the Army, and he was an Army hypnotist. He was the one that proved that you can tell somebody to shoot somebody, and they will. The person that killed Kennedy was programmed. One of them. The person that killed Oswald was programmed. The person that killed John Lennon was programmed. There's a reprogramming center in California. There's one up in Mount Shasta as well. People, you're living in delusion. You know no truth. You believe all the stories. You believe all the lies. There's no God. It's just a universal energy. Well, you want to become part of a universal energy? Good luck with that. Have fun. Be a nothingness. You were here for no reason to become part of a nothingness. Really? All right, mind is a program. The brain is a program. So let's go of all that when it steps out of the body. Aliens are not spiritual enough to do any of that. That is why they're here. That's why the Mayans and the Aztecs have all these ridiculous ideas about death and reincarnation and all the ways that it doesn't happen. And why aliens are still here. All right. Well, we had so many races on the planet, this planet alone, that were taken out. I mean, even the giants were here, and that's a proven fact. But they were taken out as well. I mean, even in the Bible, David and Goliath and all that. Well, they were giants. They took the book of Enoch out of the Bible. So, people, you want the truth, listen to every other stupid show out there. Listen to these people. Even the famous people in the UFO world. I'm going to say his name. Emery Smith. Because he was in the music world and art world, and now he's in the UFO world, and he's talking bullshit. He gave all his things. Oh, they showed me the past, present, and future. How many years ago he said the world was going to be destroyed in a year? Another person, Cavalacius, I guess he's from Australia, claimed the same thing. He worked with aliens and they're going to destroy the planet in 2 years, and they're all liars. They're programmed with programmed ideas. Now, the Skinwalker Ranch, not the Skinwalker Ranch, sorry, James Gillen Ranch. I met him personally, challenged him, and, well, you're on the bad side, I'm on the good side, and blah, blah, blah. But he's another storyteller. He lets people come out there to shoot pictures, but he claims that it's his because it's on his property. But he claims he worked with the good race. And I met the same being that he did, and it wasn't good. People could be told that something's good no matter what it is. You're put in a box and told you're in heaven. What do you know? I'm in a box that's in heaven. Uh, you can be programmed very easily into anything. Most people, all right? And they are. Reading a couple books by a person, you get programmed into his ideas. Now, Dante's Inferno of hell. He's talking about earth. He's not talking about another place. This is the place you can feel fire, cold, create, and all those things. Here, all right? You can't do the same things on the astral plane because you can't kill people. That's why this is hell. Now, the last thing I'm going to tell you, something controls the earth. There's 9 council that control the universes. That's not Satan. Satan's only control is of this planet and the people. And it's keeping people here because it doesn't want to be alone. If everybody left, he'd be alone. So he gives people, he's not the one that makes you bad. He's the one that keeps you here. He gives people what they want. And people don't want the right things. Famous, fortune is nothing spiritual. A boat, a car, a house, submarine, whatever. It has nothing to do with spiritualism. You let go of this body, you don't need anything. Not even food. So, yeah, people, you can follow what you want, believe what you want. Jesus wasn't talking about saving everybody's sorry ass. He worked with these zombie people that were farmers and fishermen, didn't know anything. And he couldn't say God. Why do you think he say my father? Why he used the word father? Well, I have a father. I know what my father is. And he used that so they could at least understand some level of what God is. God loves his children. Some fathers do. Some fathers don't. People, programming started such a long time ago. The story of Adam and Eve. If you're not even a Christian, read Revelations, all right? It'll tell you what sins can't be forgiven. If you're a Christian, hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. I'm expecting an important phone call. Really important. Matter of life and breath. Medical. So, people, I hate to say you're living in a box under a program. Multiple programs, multiple liars, multiple storytellers. Aliens are real. Bigfoot's real. Orbs are real. And the government's trying to say they're drones and all these ridiculous things. Everything is a lie, people. Trump's the biggest liar on the planet. You want to believe him? Why? Is he going to help your families? You might be rich. Well, rich assholes follow Trump because he's making them money. And what Trump's doing is spending 10 times more money than any other president. Pull up how many times he went to the golf course. Look how much it costs for you to pay for him to play golf. And I just found out yesterday, I pulled up golf courses and I wanted to see how many are owned by specific people like Trump, and what kind of revenue they make and all that. Okay? There's more native land that was taken away so golf courses could be put there. So basically there's the number, I think 3 million, whatever it is, the amount of acres of golf courses is about equal to the amount of land that they gave to the native people. And that's really pathetic. Sickening. Now, Biden was the only person that ever gave respect to the native nation. His farewell speech, you should pull it up online. Everybody should listen to it, what he said about the native people. And it's only a small part of what happened, what the white man did and does and still does. People, you live in a lie, you live in a program, and if you're not super rich, you're screwed. And you will be. And who knows how bad it's going to get. Like I said, they will try to eliminate the sick, the poor, and the elderly, and including young children, which is even really pathetic. You know, the sex trade and all those body parts and all those things that are going on in the government. And then Mr. Rumpo wants to blow up boats because he says they're all drug dealers. They're going into Mexico to do what? Start a war there as well? We ended our friendship with Canada? What kind of person is he, people? Oh, he's doing a number because he's getting people out of the United States so that they can't collect welfare? You think that's going to save your sorry ass? Well, he's taking it away from everybody so that all that money could go to the rich people. They're not rich enough. But in times, the rich will survive. And then what? AI will take over. And the aliens will be. Aliens can't live here, people. The world has to be contaminated, radioactive. Greys can hang out underground. Reptilians cannot. People, I can go on, but do you want the truth? Do you want to listen to this bullshit story that every UFO person out there making months of money? Money. They get paid up to $20,000, $25,000 to do a conference. And poor people don't even make that in a year. And they're talking bullshit. Well, listen to Stephen Greer, the biggest bull storyteller on the planet. He's going to screw everything up. He's really destroying the UFO world to the truth. Blaming the government on everything and saying it's all their stuff and blah, blah, blah. Chinese, the Russians. No. If you ever saw an alien, you would think different. If you ever saw a spaceship, you would think different. When the United States releases their spaceship, you're going to know it's not normal. It just didn't pop out of the air. Oh, let's make a spaceship. With that, people, enjoy the day. It's getting late for most people. Watching one show, I know you're bored and probably didn't listen. If you did, congratulations. If you are still listening to this, please send this link to everybody you know. I'm not trying to make money. I'm not charging people money for anything. I put my new book out in a couple of weeks. I will have to sell it. I mean, I have my first 2 books, which I give away free to people if they're interested in understanding any truth about God. All right, people. Wherever you are, peace, love. Whatever you don't stop looking for the truth. Whatever you do, don't give up on it. Believe we can always make something better if we try. If we sit back and watch, we will die. It's that simple. You heard it here, Tommy Hawksblood, the rebel in the UFO world. They all hate me because I don't like to listen to people lying, telling the world that everything's okay, the good aliens are going to come, and we're going to all be happy. Dreamland's not too far away. Close your eyes, go to bed. All right, people. Till next time.